Thank you for listening to the Astro Podcast.
What's up, Astro Podcast? It's your girl, Supernova Jazz. We are in Cancer season. Hey, and I am not alone. I came with a very special Leo, Nad Pitt, star C, newly father, Miami native. And hi.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Say what's up to the Astro Podcast.
What's up, everybody listening to these vibrations coming into your eardrums?
Yeah, we've been talking about doing a podcast together for about a year now, and he was just like, yo, these are my topics, this is what I'm pulling up, and I was like, sure, I'm about it. And I feel like it was when Jupiter went into Pisces.
Most certainly. It's also when Mercury Retrograde ended and I felt powerful.
Did you do that on purpose? Were you waiting for the retrograde to end, or you were like, wait, the retrograde's done?
Actually, I've been having dreams about the constellations. I didn't know the retrograde was done. I just had a dream that everything was gonna be okay. I didn't know it was full moon. I had a dream that there was a full moon.
Wow. Yeah. Retrograde. So Mercury in Gemini retrograde just ended. Saturn is still in retrograde in Aquarius. Jupiter just went into retrograde. So, and then Pluto's in retrograde as well. But with that Mercury in Gemini retrograde, I feel like it was a Mercury in Gatorade, total retrograde on steroids, because everybody and anybody was just like having technology issues, car issues. I saw a lot of car accidents. I wasn't really dreaming a lot during this retrograde. I was getting a lot of anxiety I had to deal with, so my anxiety was really out the roof, which if you think about Gemini is all about mental adaptability, but sometimes when you're trying to adapt too much, it can create some type of chaos and instability. So it was really getting everybody to see how they deal with instability and the unstables within ourselves that were finally coming up. So, how was retrograde for you?
Mercury retrograde was very interesting. I usually experience the brunt energy of said retrograde, but this time I got to be an observer, and I saw a lot of other people's Mercury retrograde happenings, and I just kept waiting for mine. I'm like, okay, well, if this is happening to my neighbor, then my Mercury retrograde manifestation is about to come in. And quite frankly, my Mercury retrograde manifestations were very childlike in nature. Before I had to get on the airplane this past Saturday, I went mango hunting with Blood So Pure. And
shout out.
My wallet fell out of my vest on this huge field an hour away from my house. So when I realized a few hours before my airplane travels I didn't have my wallet, I just practiced my piece. I meditated, I visualized, and I materialized exactly where my wallet was at. And sure enough, the exact spot I thought it would have fell out, it was there.
That actually happened to a friend of mine as well, and she's very I wouldn't say aggressive. She's an Aries moon, so when things happen, she's like like just reactive. But she did the same thing where she was like, you know what, everything's provided for. I'm gonna find my wallet. And it found her. So definitely feel like that trusting energy was just testing everyone through this retrograde, because it's so strong. It's so like surrender in nature. And this is your first Mercury retrograde as a father.
I mean, it is my best retrograde. So that's the only correlation I have. There weren't any hiccups with the child.
No.
The child is very divine.
Yeah.
And I find that the child has this innate ability to attract everything it needs through his parents.
Yeah, starseed. I feel like my Mercury retrograde communication was going so well with people that were very close to me, and as soon as retrograde hit, it was like cold, couldn't get through people. I felt like I was over talking, and I was like, this is my time to listen. Gemini season, period. I was like, this is my time to just listen. Because I found like anytime I talked, I either was being misunderstood or I was like pulling teeth with someone, or it was just like too assertive for them and the translation was just doing too much. And I know the source was saying, just listen, maybe for a month or so. That's
Just
it.
listen.
Just listen.
I understand that.
That's beautiful.
Very deeply.
Yeah.
Being present and like active listening, giving your reflections the space to express themselves, whether it's like a energy that you are welcoming or not. It's very important.
And the chaotic thoughts, it's like you have to listen to those as well. And listen without attaching every thought to the heart. We think so much more than we feel. So can you imagine attaching I'm a very feeling-based person. I know you are too.
I mean, the ears are attached to the heart, just like the taste buds and the ear canals are also attached to the brain. So it's all...
Yeah, but it's the observing.
You have to practice.
Yeah. The observing from the outside and being like, what is this bringing up? And what is this teaching me? And what am I feeling? And am I feeling too much? Why does this feeling feel so powerful? And why am I not paying attention to other feelings that are maybe more so whispering and others are screaming? So definitely spent a lot of time to myself. But I did go to LA for my first time ever.
Nice.
I had a lot of FOMO.
During the retrograde?
Yes, during the retrograde. And I already told you the story, the whole, like, I thought it was going to be one way and it wasn't because of communication with the person I was going to visit. Like, it was just, like, not what it was. And it was like, you know what? That's okay. Just listen. And especially with travel, my North Node being in Sag, I'm going to always travel. So when I'm traveling to other people's homes and energies, who am I to be exerting my energy too much? That's my time to observe. It's like when you're going to visit somebody else's culture and you're long lost Thea.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit there and tell her what to do and you're going to let her talk? It's her home. She's excited to have you. Or maybe she's not going to talk and she just wants to hold space.
Yeah, I definitely get that. My instinct is to always observe, but if something doesn't sit right in my spirit, I have to speak up.
Yeah. And those times will come. I'm just such an over speaker that I was like, you know what? Channel Virgo.
I get that. Analyze.
Just analyze and allow the feelings that from the analyzations and come up. But I felt like a secret, emotional, divine scientist. I don't want to say like evil scientist, divine scientist. I was just probing my own emotions and being like, what is this?
I guess moving forward for retrogrades, if certain ones adopt like the perspective of being an investigator, as opposed to being an instigator, the retrograde would be a lot more rewarding. Retrogrades are like TV specials.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily a part of the main broadcast for the storyline, but they're very necessary to learn key aspects of yourselves and the world around you to move forward.
How would you, especially with you being in a partnership, you being a father, a parent to not only your starseed, but yourself, how would you say retrograde moments, whether Mercury is in retrograde or not, how would you treat misunderstandings without escaping the situation at hand? Because I feel like that's what also was testing for me, was like, sit in it, Jazz. Sit here, sit in this feeling. Don't just escape, block, delete. Like, that's not how life works, especially in our generation, our cancel culture generation. We just want to like block, delete. How do you deal with those retrograde energies? Especially since you and also have been together for a while. You have the starseed. Give us some advice.
It's like those retrograde encounters are like being at an amazing dinner that you've been excited for all day with people that you've known for a long time and people that you're just meeting. And then you're taking the bite into this meal that you've waited for, and then you dirty your shirt. Yeah. You dirty your shirt, and all of a sudden you stop enjoying the moment. You lose all the awareness of the present moment to clean the little mark off your shirt, and like, oh, I can't really clean it. Well, in the perfect world, after doing that so many times as an adult, you realize, let me just wipe it off. I'll clean it later. And I feel like that's how you deal with retrograde encounters and like disagreements. You wipe it off. You don't discard it and ignore it, because that just goes into your subconscious, and your subconscious is not. You are an infinite being, but it's still your brain. It's not this infinite thing you could just mess around with. So you, after you like discard it for a little bit and let the moment sit, practice some presentness. Later on, when you take the shirt home to put in your laundry, you're not gonna wash it right then and there. You're gonna let it simmer.
Yeah.
So everything is just a lesson. And if something happens at a 10 during a retrograde, I'd say wait until it happens at a lesser value, like a 7, a 6, a 5, a 3, to kind of point out the pattern. Because it's a lot easier to talk about a pattern and something that's conflicting with your path at a 3 than at a 10. Because when something's at a 10, you're not talking to the person, you're talking to the ego of what just happened.
Yeah, I like that analogy. Thank you. Because the way I grew up, when I got something on my shirt, my mom would make it a big deal. And it really shows as an adult. It really shows as an adult. Because when something happens, like the shirt incident, I'm like, oh my God, let me hurry up and clean it up. I don't want to get yelled at. Of course, my mom's not yelling at me. I'm 27 years old, but it is that internal mother that's still echoing within me. And I have to counteract that with my internal mother to be like, listen, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So, and just the fact that you said on 10, I feel like we're on 10 season, because Cancer is cardinal. I'm a Cancer stellium, so I know this by experience. And,
Yeah, emotions come in 10.
It comes in 10, and it's cardinal energy. So it's very straightforward, to the point, charging forward, getting it done. And it's just like, even though I am built and this coding within me helps so much, there's still polarity in every situation. So yes, like those aspects help in business and creating partnerships and friendships and intimacy, but it doesn't help when these retrograde situations happen and I need to go, simmer down, not be on the 10, even though these are beautiful emotions and yes, they are genuine and they are coming out full speed. I have the right to just slow it down, like relax, like come down. And
it's like a mushroom trip.
It's like a fucking tide, you have to wait for that tide to just simmer down, and whatever's meant to be will be once you're at that 3. And that's so funny because that Capricorn full moon was at 3 degrees a couple days ago, and with Capricorn it's the opposite, it's the father. And anytime you have a full moon, it's the opposite energy of where the sun is. Just so you know that.
Okay.
So when people have like a sun in Cancer and then they have a moon in Capricorn, they're opposite energies. That means they're a full moon baby.
Got it.
But if they have the same sun and moon, they're a new moon baby. Because that's what new is. And that's me. I was born in the Leo moon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, so your moon is in Leo?
No, my moon is in Cancer.
Oh, okay. I see now.
But I was in a Leo new moon. It's trippy. I'm not trying to analyze it too much. Source just says, it's okay, you want a little attention. That's fine.
That's the inner Leo.
That's like my deep, 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 deep inner Leo. But with that Capricorn full moon, it was just the energy of, it's okay. We can bring logic to our emotions. You can be an emotional being and you can be a logical being. You can be logical with your emotions. Mm-hmm. You can, because I feel like being unlogical is suppressing emotions. That's unlogical.
Yeah, because I think the average American that suppresses their emotion, they do so that they can get a certain task done. But that task at hand means nothing if the self isn't actualized, and you can't actualize self if you're not dealing with what you're feeling.
Yeah, precisely. Because with it being in third degrees is the Gemini degree, so it represents communication. So in a very logical way, because it's like if you don't communicate with someone, how do you expect a path of ease or a path. I feel like the more we communicate our emotions in a logical way, we can go ahead and get rid of and filter out those unnecessary retrograde moments that we kind of create in our own reality. I feel like that's why we need retrograde seasons from universe, because if we don't, it's straight go, 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 and we need to slow down, you know?
Slow down to review.
We need those yellow lights. It's like a yellow light. It's not a stop. It's a yellow light. Slow down.
It's like school. You in college, you go to a class all the time. It's 50 minutes each, and it's really fast information. But as you're preparing for the midterm or the final exam, you get to study at your own pace, and usually you're studying for way longer than what you would have if you were just sitting in that 50-minute class. So, if anything, I feel like the retrogrades might be more important than the work outside of the retrograde.
Yeah.
If you look at the retrograde like a black hole of like self-development instead of like something that's going to bring you down.
Yeah. I feel that. And with this Capricorn full moon too, I definitely see a lot of people seeing stability as important to the home, important to the career. That's what we're dealing with, this Capricorn full moon in a Cancer season. How do we balance the domesticalities of our comfort and our emotional needs with our life path and what we need to do when we leave the home? How does that energy of the home and when we leave the home, walk out that door with whatever intention we have to bring back that stability back to the home?
By having boundaries, know that when you're walking out of your own energy that you're dealing with a whole bunch of other people's etheric like fields. Yeah. And some of these people have no idea who they are, but they still carry like a very dense energy. And sometimes that's more felt than the quiet person in the corner of the room you're heading into that actually knows himself a little more than the average person. So giving yourself space, knowing how to set boundaries in uncomfortable ways. It's better to be uncomfortable up front than to subconsciously harbor somebody else's discomfort and deal with that inside of your own private space. The goal is to keep your space a sanctuary. Your space being your body's temple and your home temple. Keep it a sanctuary. To do that, you have to protect yourself. We are in spiritual warfare, and it doesn't mean that there's a spiritual bad guy out there. It's just we are our own worst enemies, just like we are our own best heroines. Not heroin, the drug.
Yeah.
You know.
The goddess, the hero, the female
the
goddess.
Hero, yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny how you even speak about spiritual war, because that's how I see it. It's like the fourth house energy is the home and the sanctuary, the home of the body, the home of the actual home that harnesses the family. And then once you leave that door, it's like you're walking into a battle zone, or you can be walking into this new collaborative energy that Saturn is in and is in retrograde of community in Aquarius, because we are tapping into that age of Aquarius. We're not there yet. We are the pioneers of when we get there. What do we do now to get there? You know? So yeah, you don't know what energies are on other people. You don't know wherever they're at consciously, even if you do know them on an intimate level. We are literally changing our consciousness in a snap of a finger. Like, I'm so different from when I last saw you. You're so different. Your conscious awareness is way different from when you last saw me, which was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
At the market 2 months ago.
2 months ago?
Yeah.
That was like 2 weeks ago to me.
A month ago.
It was
a month and a half.
No, time does fly, and I think when time moves by fast, that's an ashe to the speed of your growth.
Yeah, and it's not in such a, people are like, oh my God, time is flying, I'm getting older. No, time is flying because the upgrades are literally upgrading faster, harder.
Yeah, I'm not
smoother.
My body's not aging faster. The days are just going by quicker.
The days are going by quicker because we're that present. We're that in the day. We're that in the mix, in the game of life, you know?
I used to think of like turning 60 as this, oh my God, when I turn 60, but I'm like, whoa, if I get to live to be 60, that's like an infinite
and
amount
that's
of
still
time.
young.
It's still, yeah, it's still
super young.
Not like get to live to 60 as if like
you're gonna die.
As if I'm gonna die, but in a past paradigm, like 60 was like, all right, buckle down, kiddos. Like when you're 60, you're gonna stay at home and you're just gonna be on a wheelchair.
It's so funny. I don't know where I was having this conversation, but back in the day, because I'm really not, I don't resonate with the medieval movies. Something about that time was just not pleasant for me in that lifetime. And then we just got to the fact that people did not live that long back then. Like, people were hitting 30 and croaking, and or people were getting married at 14, 15, which is so bizarre, especially since the type of spiritual warfare we're fighting with protecting children.
Yeah.
We're literally unlearning centuries of how back in the day arranged marriage and marriage at 14 was a thing. Like, it was. So we are progressing. We are living longer. Can you imagine how time felt back then? If time felt fast back then, don't blink your eyes, because you only have like 30 to 35. People are dying from teeth being pulled in cavities.
Really?
Yeah. People are dying from the simplest shit.
I'm glad I'm alive in this now. Because I like my life. I like my plants.
I like my plants.
You know, I don't really like the industrialization of the food and stuff we eat, but I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the convenience of going to Whole Foods and grabbing my yerba mate when I don't want to cook my tea.
If you like this Astro Tea podcast, go ahead and check out the full episode on Apple, Spotify, and all other platforms. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe on this channel, and see you in the full episode.